Hi, everybody. Welcome to Rachel's Reviews. We are really glad today to be here to do a special episode of Hidden Gems, where we were going to do HBO Max, but with everything that's happened, with the protests and everything, we were thinking about what we could talk about, and we kind of got the idea that it might be a great idea to talk about some films that were maybe hidden gems, showcasing diversity and people of color, and that might be a really helpful and proactive way to do this. And so I thought, what better to have one of my good friends, my friend Eli, here to do this with me, and Ryan is also here. So thank you, Ryan and Eli, for coming on and doing this.
Rachel, it is always a pleasure.
Yes, and Eli, thank you in particular because you're such a thoughtful voice in our film Twitter community, I feel like, and particularly the animation community. And I think you speak about diversity not only from your own experience, obviously, but just in such a eloquent and thoughtful way. So I'm really grateful to have you on.
Thank you. I have gotten that compliment before, so I'm feeling really good about myself.
Oh, good. We thought you should. And how have you been holding up here with quarantine and with all this, these things going on, this tragedy that happened, and the protests and all of that? How have you been? Digesting, I guess, all of this?
It has been, it's most of the time I'm able to just deal with this because that's I live such a sheltered existence that it's I don't have a lot of firsthand experience with it, despite the fact that I actually live in Oakland and I am Black. So, but most of the time I manage to, because I'm such an introverted person, I manage to stay out of huge events like this. So I'm mostly just reading about all this stuff.
Yeah.
On the Twitter feeds and on watching it on the news, but because it is an issue that has affected mostly Black people, and I am Black, it is extra kind of hard to see this stuff happening because it means that it could be happening to me.
Sure.
If I were there easily.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. Were you close to what happened in Oakland?
I am really close to it because the protests that I've been hearing about that happened on 14th and Broadway, where the Walgreens got vandalized by a lot of people. I walk down that street every week on my way to work, so I've seen that store, and I go in there all the time to buy lunch, and so to see that place on the news, it was surreal.
Yeah.
Because it's so close to where I go. It's like an hour-long walk away from my house if I walk. So it's pretty far from where I live, but it's very close to where I work though. So it was a little scary to see.
So have you been an essential worker in this, or at home?
Yeah. I have been working at home, but I recently started going back to work on site because I'm not the kind of essential worker that you normally hear about on the news, but I am officially an essential worker because I am doing behind the scenes work at the library where I work that doesn't involve the public because it's not open to the public yet. So the public I'm not dealing with, but I have been working behind the scenes processing library books and putting barcodes on the books and stuff like that. So I have been deemed essential.
Okay. And Ryan, you're not back quite yet, right?
I actually returned to work not this last Wednesday, but 2 Wednesdays ago.
Oh,
So
okay.
I have been back basically for a week and a half now.
Okay. Yeah, I can remember. Yeah. It's a crazy time to be alive, I'll tell you that right now. Whew.
Agreed.
So we just thought that this would be a nice little exercise to do. If you can find some more hidden films and series, for me, at least one of mine is a series on these different streaming platforms that maybe then you can support and these are quality, and so it's not just diversity for diversity's sake. These are good stuff. And so and usually we focus on one network, but for this one we decided you could do for any of the streaming services, so it's more of a themed topic, which could be fun maybe for the future. So why don't you start us off, Eli? What's your first pick?
Okay, my first choice is the movie. This might be a hidden gem for some people. Maybe some people haven't watched it, but it's called Do the Right Thing.
Spike Lee,
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, you can rent it, and people should rent it. It is available for a low cost, so people should rent it.
Yeah. You know what? I was about to say you should just there's an app called Just Watch that you should download and just type it in, and it'll just tell you where to stream it.
Yeah. So what do you love about this film?
Okay, yes, as Ryan said, it was directed by Spike Lee. It came out in 1989. The thing I will say about this movie is, it was an interesting movie at the time because it was putting a kind of a spotlight on things that movies didn't normally talk about, like in those days, because it was showcasing a lot of the inner city like drama that was taking place between people because of their race. See, it was like, because first of all, the movie was about a pizza delivery guy who lives in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn, and it was in Bed-Stuy is a mostly black neighborhood, but the guy that he works for at the pizzeria is an Italian American, and one of the people in the neighborhood is upset at the pizzeria because there's a wall of fame with only famous Italian Americans on the wall, but there are like no black people on the wall. So it escalates. Basically, it escalates into like a riot that between the pizzeria owner and the neighborhood person who's like complaining about it, and it ends up with police getting involved. It ends up with violence spreading, and it ends up with the building getting burned down. And this was a lot of stuff that a lot of black people were used to seeing a lot in areas like New York and Los Angeles in those times, but you didn't normally see like high profile movies showing stuff like that happening. Like race riots was basically what they were like identified as, and this is a movie that was completely about that. It was like centered on that because it didn't just show like tension between black people and white people. It also showed tension between like white people and Puerto Ricans and Latinos and Koreans, and even talked about Koreans and Jews and so the reason why I like it so much is because it was sort of like groundbreaking its in the realistic portrayal of the drama that was taking place that like you didn't normally see on a big screen.
Yeah.
Which is one of the reasons why a lot of people think this is like Spike Lee's like best movie, because this was the one that put him on the map, and it's like National Film Registry and the American Film Institute like staple.
Yeah. I haven't seen this, but I definitely need to. I think I'm going to watch it this week. So I appreciate your recommendation. I've been really wanting to see it. Yeah. Have you seen this, Ryan?
I've only seen the one clip where Samuel L. Jackson says, "And that's the double truth, Ruth," because I was looking it up for another project. But Spike Lee is admittedly a blind spot of my filmography, not out of anything like that. It just, I never saw a ton of his movies. But, you know, he's got a new movie coming out called The Five Bloods. I believe it's coming to Netflix, and I'll definitely be hunting that down. So, and then I'll just start working my way backwards.
For sure. Very good. All right. Well, my first choice is actually on the Hulu service, and it is called The Hate U Give. And this is a movie that went under the radar from 2018, I believe. And I think that this movie does a really good job of showcasing this family and their situation with them trying to work with their community, them trying to protest. This girl who is going to a white school, predominantly white school, rich school, but yet she still is very invested in her community. And there's a tragedy that happens with a friend of hers that gets shot by a police officer, and kind of what happens. And I thought that family felt very genuine to me, that they actually felt like a family. And I thought that the story was very riveting and very well done, and the acting was very good, and I think it deserved to be a bigger hit. It got 97% on Rotten Tomatoes, but it didn't do all that well. I really enjoyed the book that it was based on, and I thought they did a really good job of adapting it. Did you ever get to see this, Eli?
I heard about this one and I wanted to see it. I haven't gotten around to it yet, but it sounds really interesting, and it's really like it's on my list. I like it. Sounds like the kind of thing that I would like based on the story alone.
Yeah, it's really good. I think you all would like it, and a really good one to watch with teenagers, and start having these conversations. So Ryan, what's your first choice?
So my first choice is from 2018, and this one is available now on HBO Max. This is called Blinded by the Light. This is a personal favorite of mine and Rachel. Eli, I don't know if you feel the same, but Blinded by the Light is just a wonderful movie. It's based on a true story. It's directed by, and I'm probably going to butcher this name, and I do apologize in advance if she is listening to this, Gurinder Chadha. That's about as close as I'm going to get. I mean, no disrespect. I suck with names, and that's about as good as it's going to be. But the movie itself is excellent. It's about a young boy. He's Indian, and or actually no, he's Pakistani. Yes, he's Pakistani. Yes, he is Pakistani, and he comes from a very strict, conservative Pakistani family. But then he discovers the music of the boss, Bruce Springsteen, and his life changes forever. He opens himself up. He gives himself new opportunities to experience and things creatively during a time where Pakistanis were treated rather unfairly in their home country, or in the UK. This is This is a movie that could have gone one way, and I was expecting it to go one way, but it went the opposite way, and I was very pleasantly surprised by it. This movie opened up the door for me to listen to some Bruce Springsteen myself, because I had only maybe listened to 10th Avenue Freeze Out and maybe a couple more of his songs, and now I've listened to a lot more. So it opened up the door to me there. All the acting is great. There's some really, really sad scenes in there, but there's some happy ones too. At the end of the day, this is one of the more underrated movies of 2018. Nobody saw it, and I am so sad that that is the case, because it was just brilliant, as the British would say.
Yeah. I agree. I absolutely loved this movie. I saw it at Sundance, and then I went and saw it several more times. I just, what a joyful, beautiful movie about the power of when something, when you, that first experience when you become like a real fan of something and something inspires you, and the movie just really captures that experience so well. And it's just, I absolutely love it. It's a great choice, and everybody should watch it. It's not a cynical movie at all, so you have to put that side of you out, but who needs cynicism in a time like this? We need optimism, I think. So I love that film.
I've been hearing this movie getting praised ever since I first heard about it, when it was like at festivals before it became theatrically released, and Rachel like was raving about it like really early. So so Steve's contributed to my interest in watching it, definitely.
And which service is that on, Ryan?
It's on HBO Max, which is currently in its maiden week or weekend, or
Very
no,
good.
It's maiden week. Maiden week.
All right. So my next choice is The Breadwinner, and this is on Netflix right now. And this is was nominated for the animated Oscar. It's a beautiful film by director Nora Twomey, from the same team that does the Cartoon Saloon, who did Song of the Sea and Secret of the Kells. I love their studio. This movie is about this 11-year-old Afghani girl whose father is arrested, and they're not allowed to, women aren't allowed to shop at this time. This is in 2001 under the Taliban. And so they have to figure out how they're going to get food. So she ends up pretending to be a boy for a time. And it's a beautiful, heart-wrenching, wonderful animated film that people should see. Yeah. So
yeah, that one was, again, I like Cartoon Saloon too, and that was like one of their best, although all of them are some of my favorite animated movies of all time.
Yeah, they're the best. So what's your next pick, Eli?
Okay, my next pick is a movie called Dolomite Is My Name that
Eddie
came out. Yes. Oh my God, I love Eddie. 2019, that movie came out on Netflix, and if you can stream it on Netflix right now. And that movie was written. It was written by actually Scott Alexander and Larry Karaszewski, and they were the same screenwriters behind the Tim Burton movies Ed Wood and Big Eyes. And this is sort of similar to those movies, actually, because this is also a biography about a real person, like Ed Wood, also about a filmmaker. And it was basically, it was about this guy named Rudy Ray Moore, played by Eddie Murphy, who and Rudy Ray Moore played a character in the movie, called himself Dolomite, which was his stage name. And he called himself that when he performed on stage doing stand-up comedy. And then he started calling himself that when he started making movies. And he tried to make basically a movie about Dolomite called Dolomite. It's a real movie that came out in 1975. And this is a movie about the making of that real movie. And and I just really liked this film because it showed people like enjoying making a movie. It was like and the passion behind the making of the movie, there was and all the behind the scenes drama that took place as the movie was trying to be made and get funded by people, and they were trying to sell to people, and even though no one thought the movie was going to do well, and it was like that I like because it's like an underdog story, and I like underdog stories, and and it was just a movie that celebrated the making of movies, and those I liked. So this one I thought was really good, although it is super super filthy, and it is definitely R-rated. Just to let people know, but if you can get past that, then it's very entertaining.
Very, very good. I've heard that is I didn't see it, but I heard it's really funny. So people will have to check it out. All right, Ryan, what's your next one?
So my next choice is currently streaming on Netflix at the minute, and it is from the year 2008, and it is a movie called The Long Shots. This is a movie that definitely is under the radar. I've seen it 10 or so times, and it's gotten better the more I've watched it. Now, please take this sentence and not like immediately shun me. This movie was directed by Fred Durst of Limp Bizkit fame. Now, I know Limp Bizkit is not exactly a popular name, but he actually directed a really good movie in The Long Shots. It stars Ice Cube and Keke Palmer. Ice Cube is a disgraced football player, and he decides to coach his niece's football team, and he actually recruits his niece, played by Keke Palmer, to quarterback the team. It's really, really, really hard to screw up a football movie. I've seen dozens of them, and they're all at least good to great. And this is one of the great ones. It tells a really, really great story. Ice Cube is surprisingly a good actor. I never thought I would say Ice Cube is a really good actor, but he's a really good actor. And Keke Palmer, who has been in movies recently as Hustlers, she's gone on to do bigger things, and she was in other movies when she was a kid up to now, like School of Rock, and so she's really good in here too. Really good football stuff in here. This is one of those movies that I think it's good for the entire family. This is definitely a family movie night worthy.
Very good. That one sounds good. I didn't know about. I don't think I've seen that. I don't know if I've seen it. I can't remember. But that sounds like a good one.
Yeah, I don't. I've never seen it, but if Ice Cube's in it, I'm sure I would like it because he is always good in every single thing he's in. Like drama, comedy, Ice Cube is always good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. All right. Well, my next pick is on Disney Plus. It's The Diary of a Future President, and it's actually a series, and it's really cute. It's about this young girl who you see her as a grown up as the president, and then she finds her old diary, and then you see the experiences of her growing up as well. And it's a very diverse cast, with the young girl played by Tess Romero, and she's really, really cute. You have Gina Rodriguez playing her as an adult, and she's really good, and as president. And then you have her mother, and the whole cast is really well done, and it's sweet, it's heartwarming, and I haven't finished the whole thing yet, but I really enjoyed it, and I think it could be a positive thing for kids to see Gina Rodriguez as president and in this little girl, and that they can be anything that they set their mind up to. And and I think that they'll like it. It's a really cute family show. So on
That
Disney
one,
Plus.
that one I haven't seen yet because Disney Plus is full of a bunch of things that are taking up my time.
Yeah.
That I so so that one is so far down the list, but like compared to all the other stuff I'm trying to watch. But I'm gonna get to that eventually though because
But
it sounds good.
it's definitely for kids. Like it's made for children, but it was really sweet. I enjoyed it. I really did. So of what
Right,
I've seen, I
right.
still have to see. I've not finished the season, so
Okay, well, I'm
so don't feel
curious
bad.
about it.
But you should.
Okay, yeah. If it's
Yeah,
the kind of thing that would come on like Disney Channel or something, I'm probably not missing it.
yeah. It's I would say it's similar to that stuff that's on the Disney Channel, but maybe I think the cast elevates it a little bit with Gina and with
Oh,
some other people. So so I think it's worth giving a watch, at least the pilot. But
okay.
definitely
Well,
if you have
it does.
kids, they'll love it. They'll love it. So
Okay. Well, it does. It does have a good sounding cast. So
yeah,
yeah, that's good.
yeah. So Eli, what's your next pick?
Okay, my next pick. For Hidden Gem is something that Ryan Coogler directed before Black Panther, which I thought is worth revisiting, and that is his film called Fruitvale Station.
Oh, great.
Well,
Which,
this movie wrecked me. It was
uh,
it's really really good, but man, it was a hard watch.
Yeah, it's a really good
yeah,
one.
yes, yeah. This movie was really good. I similarly it was like hard to watch because it was like it did a good job. I thought just telling a mundane story. It was a very mundane story because it was basically just the movie humanized Oscar Grant's life by showing him with his girlfriend and his daughter, and showing him with his mother, and showing him trying to get his job back at a grocery store, and all leading up to the moment when he was at the train station and he was spotted by a former inmate from back when he was in jail, and things escalated from there, and then that led to him being killed by the BART police at the Oakland Fruitvale district, so yeah, it was the whole movie leading up to that was very mundane, but it did a good job humanizing the person that it was based on, which is what I really liked about it. And Michael B. Jordan is always good in every movie he's in, and so he was being in that role was like half the humanization right there. And I thought that this was really good. This was the movie I watched that made me really happy when I learned that Ryan Coogler was directing Black Panther, because this is one of my favorites. It was like top of my list of favorite dramas, and definitely in favorite biographies.
That's cool. Yeah, it's a really, really, really good movie. People should see it. I'm looking online. It looks like you can watch it on the Tubi TUBI service right now, which I guess is a free streaming service. So check it out. It's really worth watching. It's tough to watch at times. Definitely, I think worthwhile, especially right now. You should. Yeah, it's a good one for sure.
It was just it really it toyed with my emotions, but it was really really well made. And like Eli said, when I heard that Black Panther was being directed by Ryan Coogler and with Michael B. Jordan alongside him, I'm like, well, that's the director I wanted and that's the actor I wanted in this movie, so I'm gonna love it no matter what. And I remember seeing Fruitvale Station, and I was on vacation with my dad. We were in Tampa Bay. We had just spent the entire day, in the Salvador Dali Museum. We were walking all day. We were tired. So we were like, you want to see a movie? And I was like, I don't know what's out. So we just go to a random theater. See Fruitvale Station is playing. I had no idea what it was about. My dad and I went in blind. It was one of the rare times that I've ever done that. And I walked out of there like, life is suffering, you know. It's like, it's just it was the wrong movie to watch on vacation, but it was still really, really good, and everyone should go see it wholeheartedly.
Yeah, I agree. So Ryan, what's your next pick?
So my next pick is a classic, and it is called In the Heat of the Night. This is
Mm.
streaming on Amazon Prime, and it stars the legendary Sidney Poitier, who in his time was one of the best actors working. He plays a private detective who is in a small southern town to investigate a murder, and he is accompanied by this sheriff played by Rod Steiger. Sidney Poitier plays a black private detective going into a small southern town with a white sheriff. I have a feeling you all know where this is heading. Well, the movie is excellent. It's a tour de force from Poitier. He won an Oscar for it, and if you've ever heard the line "They call me Mr. Tibbs," that's where that is from. Uh, I try and promote classic movies whenever I can, and so when I was preparing this list, I was like, where can I look? And I was scrolling through Amazon, and I stumbled upon In the Heat of the Night, and I was like, that's going on the list. I don't care if it's hidden or no matter what, it's going on there because it's excellent.
Yeah. Yeah. I actually haven't seen this one. This is a blind spot for me. And I really need to see it. I really do.
Yeah,
It's an
yeah.
excellent
In the
film.
Heat of the Night. In the Heat of the Night is made a lot of classic film lists include that one, and it's highly regarded by a lot of film historians. But like, I don't know how many younger people have watched it, so it's good to like put classic films on the radar too.
Yeah. Yeah. Very good. All right, Eli, what is your final pick?
Well, okay, this final choice from me is actually something I'm pretty sure actually does qualify as a hidden gem, because I don't know how many people even know about this, but it is a movie that came out in 2019 called Guava Islands. And
Oh.
this movie, yes, it is available. I believe it's available to watch on Amazon Prime, because that was where it was available when it came out in 2019. It premiered at Coachella and then later came to Amazon Prime. And it was a movie starring Donald Glover, directed by Hiro Murai, who is the director behind some of Childish Gambino's music videos, and
Oh.
this was his feature film debut. And this is a short movie. It's like only 56 minutes long, but it's a really interesting movie, I thought, because it starts actually with animation. There's an animated
Huh.
opening sequence that's kind of like told in a folktale style, which introduces the origin of Guava Island, the island in the movie. And it was actually a musical. The movie was kind of like a musical, because people did break out in song in the middle of the story. But it starred Donald Glover, and it starred Rihanna as his girlfriend, and it was about Donald Glover's character throwing a music festival. Only the music festival was being threatened by this shady business tycoon who thinks the festival interfere with his business, because a lot of the islanders who are going to go to the festival are the people who work for him, and he employs most of the people on the island to work for him. So he thinks the festival is going to interfere with his business. But it was a really nice, feel good, inspirational story. It was kind of bittersweet because there is some violence in it. It's kind of like it gets real sometimes, but it was a musical, and so it did a good job being fun throughout its 56-minute run. And there was zero attention on this thing. It was very under the radar, but I did really like it. So I'm sharing it with all of you.
Very good. I have not seen this. I think I remember seeing the ads or seeing it on Amazon, but I never watched it. But I love musicals, and I love Donald Glover, so I'll have to give it a shot. It sounds fun.
Yeah, if you do watch it, tell me what you think of it.
I will, for sure. Yeah, that sounds really interesting. Have you heard of this, Ryan?
I've heard a lot of Donald Glover, and I'm a fan, but I have never heard of this one. I was trying to think to myself, did I just pass it? But then I was like, no, I just done missed it. But I got to give credit to Eli. I will look out for it now. So thank you, sir.
That's what's great about Hidden Gems. Is finding this podcast. That's what's so great about it.
As soon as you started talking about hidden gems, I was like, oh, this is the perfect movie to bring
up. Well, my last pick that I'm going to do is called Keela and the Bee, and this is on HBO Max. It's available. And
speaking of Keke Palmer.
Yes, that's right. And it's a really sweet movie. This was made back in 2006. And it's about this little girl from this poor part of LA, and her desire to enter the spelling bee, because most of them are wealthier kids from wealthier schools. And it's really cute. And Angela Bassett and Lawrence Fishburne, both great. And and Keke Palmer's, the young girl as Akila. And so I think it would be a great one to watch with your family, that they all be inspired by. And it's on HBO Max right now. So I think it went under the radar. I've been meaning to do it for family movie night one of these days, but I should do it. So
I learned a ton of big words thanks to this, like xanthosis. It's spelled with an X.
Yeah, you do. It is.
And you said this is available on HBO Max?
HBO Max, yes. Yeah, Keela and the Bee. And it's just a really sweet story of the young girl taking on the spelling bee. And it's really more of a story of class challenges more than race, but it's still there. Yeah, you should. I think people would really enjoy it. So Ryan, what's your final pick?
So my final pick is currently on Netflix right now. It is from 2018, and it is a movie called The Foreigner. This movie is a hidden gem for a lot of reasons, but mostly because it was grossly mismarketed. It stars Jackie Chan about a man who loses his daughter in a terrorist bombing, and so he is hell-bent on finding the people responsible for it. And he goes to this Irish politician played by Pierce Brosnan, and Pierce is like, listen, I feel for you, man, but there's nothing really that I can do. Like, Jackie Chan's character even lays out his entire life savings, and he is like, I want the names of the bombers. And he is like, I'm sorry, man, I can't do anything for you. So Jackie Chan's like, all right, I'll just basically do it myself. And so he starts to dig, and he starts to go after the politician. Well, turns out the politician is hiding a lot more than he said. The reason why this movie was mismarketed was because it was made to look like a Jackie Chan kung fu movie going up against, Pierce Brosnan. But that's not really it. Jackie Chan really doesn't do all that much. The movie is more like Irish House of Cards from the early 2010s. But that's kind of also what makes the movie good, is Pierce Brosnan's a really good actor, and you kind of sense his desperation, like, did I just blow the bunny with this guy? And he's looking, and he's like, oh, I've been complicit in this the whole time. There's a lot of nuance and a lot of plot lines that go in a lot of different places. There's a lot of twists, and it mostly works. And in the one scene that Jackie Chan does get to do his thing, it is legitimately awesome. You have to go through a lot of stuff in order to get to it if you're looking for a kung fu movie, but if you're looking for more of a cerebral political movie, then this may be your jam.
Mm-hmm.
The Foreigner is really, really good, and it fell under the radar mostly due to gross mismarketing,
Yeah.
which is why I don't trust trailers.
Yeah, I agree with you on this film. I think that it really gets to showcase some real acting from Jackie Chan that you don't see in all of his movies because he doesn't speak the language and because there's other challenges. And it's more about this, about the stunts. And here you really get to see a fully fleshed out character. And I haven't seen it in a long time, but I remember thinking it was underrated that year for sure. So it's a very good choice. So why don't we go over our choices real quick? And so for me, I had The Hate You Give, which is on Hulu, and then I had The Breadwinner, which is on Netflix. I had Diary of a Future President on Disney Plus, and Aquila and the Bee on HBO Max. So what about you, Eli?
Okay, I had Do the Right Thing, which I can't remember if we said where that was available. Yeah,
You
but
just have to rent it right now on
yeah, it's
any of the
rent.
services.
Okay, it's worth it. You should rent it.
Yes, worth it.
And yeah, and I also had Dolomite Is My Name on Netflix, Fruitvale Station on Tubi, and Guava Island, which is available on Amazon Prime Video.
Great. And Ryan, what's your list?
My list is Blinded by the Light on HBO Max, The Long Shots, which is on Netflix, In the Heat of the Night, which is on Amazon Prime, and The Foreigner, which is on Netflix.
Great. Thank you so much, you guys. I'm really glad we did this, and I'm glad that we were able to get some good recommendations out there. Please, if you're listening, let us know what some of your favorite films are that feature people of color, that maybe have them behind the scenes as well. We'd love to hear, and we'd be able to celebrate those hidden gems. And we hope that you're all safe and that you're all doing well, given the circumstances, as well as might be expected at least. And Eli, where can people follow you on Twitter and all that fun stuff?
Yeah, if you want to see all my opinions about like movies and TV shows and even video games, it's like all on my Twitter at eJunkie2014. And if you go there, then I will guide you to my blog, and I'll have even more opinions on that.
Great. And Ryan, where can people find you?
So on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Reddit is at RyanCam20, or not Reddit, it's Letterboxd. Letterboxd is at RyanCam20. And then my YouTube channel is RyanCam Movie Reviews, and I've got big plans for the month of June. I'll be continuing the AFI project. The episode for 2001: A Space Odyssey will be live by the time we are recording this. And then up next on the docket will be Sunset Boulevard, The Graduate, The General, and On the Waterfront. And that's just literally naming a few. And then also coming to the channel, I'll be gearing up for Nolan Month in honor of Tenet. Still coming to theaters, hopefully. I'll be talking about every movie Christopher Nolan has directed, from Following up to the Dark Knight films, up to Interstellar, and up to Dunkirk, and everything else in between. So a lot of stuff coming to the channel. It's going to be just a bustling place in the month of June.
Yeah, very good. That sounds like some good stuff. And you do a good job. I mean, I'm just saying this because you're my co-host, but you do a good job in those reviews. You really do. So people should check it out. And you can find me at Rachel's Reviews, all of our social media, iTunes, YouTube, and on Rotten Tomatoes, and at the Hallmarkies podcast. Check that out. We have a lot of fun stuff coming up over there as well. So thanks again. And we will have to have you back on another time, Eli, because this was really fun. And I like this idea of kind of doing a theme and picking from all the different services. So we'll have to try that again as well, because I thought that was fun. And so thanks so much, and we'll talk to you all later. Be safe, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.